Hello guys and welcome to my new video, and I just ended up finishing heroic raid testing on 9.2 PTR for World of Warcraft, and honestly it feels so refreshing to get my hands on some new raid bosses. It's been too long. And these two new bosses, we were testing out the Fallen Oracle, we were testing out Skolex. These are the two new heroic raid bosses, and I was testing out my Venthyr Mistweaver Monk with the 2 set, with the 4 set, and my Necrolord Holy Paladin. And keep in mind guys, there's a lot of issues on the PTR in terms of the 4 set bonuses, in terms of the 2 set bonuses. Some of them straight up don't work, so you should expect a lot of fine-tuning in the next future. So when you go to the Fallen Oracle, I was using my Venthyr Mistweaver Monk for this fight, and I wasn't sure how healing intensive it's going to be. Fallen Oracle felt very undertuned, and we brought 3 healers. It felt like you could probably solo heal this fight. There wasn't a lot of AoE damage. There were only certain phases where there would be a shield and you would have to deal with the shield, and there's a lot of AoE damage happening. But with 3 healers, with defensives, with Spirit Link, it felt like there was nothing to heal for a lot of the time, and a lot of my healing was overhealing. Now, Venthyr Mistweaver Monk, or at least the 4 set bonus for monks, is there, but is kind of broken, and there is a lot of people expecting some changes happening in the future in terms of, again, first of all, if you use your Thunder Focus Tea, there should be a rune that's going to increase your healing if you stand in it. The rune is not visible, it's not implemented yet, so you just kind of see this weak order that tells me, oh hey, you have this buff for 10 seconds. Second of all, the healing increase while standing in the rune only affects, or how do I say it, it does not affect your HOTS. So things like your Essence Font HOTS, things like Renewing Mist. So the play was use Thunder Focus Tea and make sure I'm using Refreshing Jade Wind. That seemed to provide a decent amount of HPS, but again, I'm hoping Blizzard is going to fix the 4 set in terms of affecting your HOTS. So the Fallen Oracle boss mechanics are very simple, but they're also very engaging. So there's going to be like Black Halo that's going to happen from different sides of the room, and you start off with 1, then you get 2 of them, then you get 3 of them, then you get 4 of them. And the main concept is that you can step through the halo and you're gonna get this debuff that's gonna increase the damage taken from that ability by 500% for 5 seconds. So the gameplay here, you step through one of the halos, you avoid the next halo for 5 seconds, and when the debuff runs out, you are free to go through any halo that you want. Any movement abilities, like, you know, if you're Night Fae Blink, if you have Venthyr Door of Shadows, if you have, for example, a monk with a teleportation, you can pretty much negate a lot of this. And I can tell you right now, classes and covenants with movement speed, with blink abilities are going to be really overpowered, especially in the mythic version of this fight. And that's the basic concept. Another concept of the fight is soaking. You're going to get a staggering barrage, which is gonna put an arrow over your head, and you kind of have to allow other players to soak for you. Now, the players that soak for you are also gonna get a debuff for 45 seconds. That is going to increase the damage taken by 500% from that ability, so you cannot soak multiple times. What we found though from the testing is that if you soak an ability, there is still a chance that you're going to be picked by this ability, and this happened exactly to me, where I soaked the first one, then I got picked the arrow over my head, and I was taking 500% more damage from this ability, and I basically died. And the way that we end up killing this boss, we had our tanks rotate and soak this ability because the tanks cannot be selected by it, and it was easy peasy, and we were able to kill this boss multiple times. We were testing out a lot of different concepts in terms of how to avoid the disintegration halo effect, which was the main part of it. Did not require a lot of healing, but Mistweaver Monk, Venthyr Mistweaver Monk still feels extremely strong in terms of pure HPS. I was still able to provide a decent amount of damage, and my mobility really helped me with this fight. So Mistweaver Monk definitely a really good choice in this fight, and genuinely a really fun first boss to try in 9.2. Now, the second boss they were able to try, again, this is not going in the order of the bosses you're going to see when the new raid releases. This is just basically what they chose for us to test, so Skolex. And this is a big worm type ability, and this boss was way more healing requirement than first one. It honestly felt really hard in terms of pure HPS. Unfortunately, I was running my Necrolord Holy Paladin for this, and I say unfortunately for a specific reason, because the positioning in this fight and because of our group size meant that majority of my Light of Dawns, which is basically your staple of your 2-set, 4-set and your Necrolord Holy Paladin, was going into overhealing. On this boss fight we had different groups of melee of the tanks, and you don't really want to stand on the tanks or you're going to die, but the majority of the damage is going to happen to the ranged players. The furthest 3 players from the boss are going to be taking extra damage and getting a stacking debuff, and they're going to get really wrecked. So you can see the amount of damage that the furthest 3 players are taking, and I kind of have to stand in melee range. My Light of Dawn is not really hitting properly. You cannot, and I forgot to mention this at the start of the video, in PTR you cannot run 2 legendaries yet. You can only run 1 legendary, and you can test the 2-set and 4-set bonus. So my Necrolord Holy Paladin ended up doing a bunch of overhealing, which is a statement to how much pure healing a Holy Paladin can do. But I definitely felt that the positioning, maybe if I was running Shadowbreaker, maybe if there were 2 legendaries available, it would be a lot easier. But generally speaking, I was trying out Necrolord, the 2-set bonus, the 4-set bonus. You have to remember that I was running Vanquisher's Hammer into Wall of Glory, which triggered Light of Dawn. And if you had the 2-set bonus, it would trigger it twice, not 3 times, which again, I need to do further testing. Maybe that's gonna change. But your Light of Dawns would reduce the cooldown of your wings, and honestly throughout the fight I think we had like a 6-minute pull and my wings uptime was like 80%. So I was pretty much in wings for majority of the time. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, a lot of it was going into overhealing because of the positioning, but Necrolord Holy Paladin felt really nice. I still feel, don't take this video as a way of saying, hey, Necro is going to be the way to go. I still think Ashen Hallow, Venthyr, Holy Paladin, with the double legendary synergy, with a higher uptime on wings, is probably going to be really hard to beat both in raids and Mythic Plus. So the reason I'm playing Necrolord, because I want to try out something different. I wanted to see what wing uptime I could achieve, and the Skolex boss felt really hard in terms of pure healing. Range were taking a lot of damage, and throughout the fight we would have to stack. By stacking we would kind of engage the burrow phase, so we have to move away, and then you move into the next stage of the fight. But the pure HPS requirement felt really nice, and I have to say, I don't want to go on too long in this video. My testing so far with Necro, Holy Paladin, Venthyr, Mistweaver Monk felt really good. If you enjoyed this video, let me know, guys, because my next plan is to test the Venthyr Holy Paladin. Hopefully double legendaries are going to emerge. The reason I'm not testing Resto Shaman or Resto Druid, because Blizzard has announced that they're going to be reworking the tier sets, so there's no point for me to test them, because again, the main reason to test bosses or classes right now is tier sets. When the double legendaries open up, I'm gonna try out Venthyr. Leave a comment below what healer I should test in the PTR next, because I'm going to be putting out a lot of videos. So guys, if you like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell and all of that. There's going to be a lot of content out. So the summary of the video, really enjoyed testing, really liked some of the tier sets. Some of the tier sets are completely broken, like the 4-set for Mistweavers needs a lot of reworking, or again, they said they're going to fix it. Let me know how you felt about the bosses, and I'll see you in my next video.